everybody, and Happy New Year! Welcome to Break the Tackle. I am Austin the PEF Peffer, here with the final edition of the PEF 10 for the 2024 NFL season. It has been quite the year. The PEF 10, if you're new here, it is my top 10 teams going into the week. One last week of the regular season, and then we're off to the playoffs. And we're going to start at number 10, where I have the LA Chargers returning to the PEF 10. I mean, J.K. Dobbins is back, and the Chargers look unstoppable against the Patriots. Yes, it was the Patriots, but I think having J.K. Dobbins back in this offense is a really big deal. He kind of feels like the Jenga piece. I think the Chargers are still an offseason away from getting where they need to be, to getting in that top tier. But I could see this team winning a playoff game, maybe even two if they have the right opponent. Jim Harbaugh's done a fantastic job this season. Chargers were a big turnaround. Chargers at number 10. At number 9, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers returning to the PEF 10 this week, getting themselves a big win, a dominating win over the Carolina Panthers. They now control their destiny once again. A win, and they are in. The Bucs are in position to win the division 4th year in a row, which is pretty crazy. Baker Mayfield's just having himself a hell of a year. The Bucs are also the Ducks. They had a duck on the field. Just signed Duck Hodges as your backup quarterback, and there you go. All jokes aside, this Tampa team's looking really good, and I mean, hey, they're one of two teams that beat the Eagles. They're one of two teams that beat the Lions. Yes, it was early in the season, but I feel like Tampa's a team you don't want to play in the playoffs. They are sneaky good. I feel like whoever, between Minnesota and Detroit, whoever loses, they're good chance they're playing Tampa. I don't like that for either of them. Tampa, I think, is very dangerous. Baker Mayfield, hats off to him. Hats off to the Bucs in general. They are number 9. At number 8, I got the Washington Commanders once again. Exciting Sunday Night Football ending against the Falcons. Jaden Daniels is the guy. I think he's Offensive Rookie of the Year. To me, it's between him and Brock Bowers at this point. He's brought life back to this organization. He's brought life back to the fan base, and now they are locked in the playoffs. First time in, 4 years since the COVID year. Gotta be feeling good if you're Washington. Do they win a playoff game? Maybe not, but still very much a successful year for the Commanders. They're at number 8. At number 7, I got the Green Bay Packers. Coming off of a loss against the Minnesota Vikings, but, it wasn't the worst loss in the world. 5 losses, 2 against the Vikings, 2 against the Lions, 1 against the Eagles. All teams that you can't hang your head on if you lose to them, but getting swept by both the Lions and the Vikings, not awesome. You want to at least split one of those. It makes me feel like, Packers are a year away. And, I picked them to go to the Super Bowl this year. I'm not feeling as great about that now, but this team can still very much capable of winning a playoff game. They might be down to the 7th seed now. Commanders are now ahead of them in the 6th seed, but that could flop around this week. We will see. I feel like they're kind of in the same tier as the Chargers right now. I feel better about the Packers than I do the Chargers, but I feel like they're in that same tier. Packers at 7. At number 6, I got the Detroit Lions getting a hell of a Monday Night Football win. The 49ers aren't the same 49ers team, but that's a win they wanted after the NFC Championship last year. It was close early on, but then the Lions just pulled away late. Still have concerns with the defense, but all they need is that 1 or 2 splash plays to make it a successful day for them. And the offense, they just keep clicking. They put up 40 points a game, it feels like. So there's a lot of danger with this Lions team, but they're also beatable too. And with all the injuries they've had, that's definitely accelerated that. But this Lions team is still a Super Bowl contender, and they're at number 6. We're halfway through the PEF 10. I want to give props to a couple teams who couldn't crack this list, but they got some big wins. They're in good positions. Want to shout them out. I'm going to start the Cincinnati Bengals. They got another big win. They're still alive. They still need some help, but if they get a win against Pittsburgh this weekend and they get a Dolphins and Broncos loss, they are in at the 7th seed for the AFC. And speaking of those Dolphins, got to shout them out as well. Dominating win over the Browns, even without Tua in cold weather in December. They had themselves a good year in December. Gotta give them that. That was one of their big bugaboos. They couldn't win in December, and, they've got a winning record in December. So hats off to them. They still have playoff hopes with a win against the Jets and a Broncos loss. They are in at the 7th seed. So shout out to the Bengals and Dolphins this week. And now we go to the top 5 of the PEF 10, starting at number 5, where I got the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, they just dominated the Houston Texans. Impressive to come off a short week against a bitter rival in the Steelers, big physical game, and you come out and you dominate on the road at that. I mean, that was impressive. That was definitely impressive. At the end of the day for Baltimore, it just comes down to, will they get in their own way? I feel like in the AFC, if anyone's going to beat them, more than likely it would be themselves. Really, at the end of the day, I feel like Baltimore could be their own worst enemy, like another team I'll mention later. Like, I just worry they might get in their own way, but I mean, they're absolutely electric. Lamar and Henry are just an awesome duo. Receiving core is growing, getting better. I think Rashad Bateman's kind of an underrated gem for that team. And gotta give credit to the defense. It was ugly early on, but since like week 11, I think they have the number 1 defense in the league. So they've turned it around. And, you know, if they just keep it up, then, you know, Baltimore is once again a serious Super Bowl threat. And I got them at number 5. At number 4, I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings. It's time to give this team some love. Let's recognize what they've accomplished. They are more than just a story now. I think they got to bring back Sam Darnold at this point. Like, he is just having a phenomenal year. I think all he really needed was the right coach. And, you know, we saw a little bit of it with Shanahan. Like, he was looking better, and, you know, he did okay briefly in Carolina. I mean, the Jets was a nightmare, but he didn't have the coaching there. The coaching still wasn't as good in Carolina, but he had some good coaching in San Fran. It was looking a little better. And now in Minnesota, where Kevin O'Connell, in my opinion, has to be coach of the year. I mean, he's phenomenal. And Brian Flores, like, has this defense in quite an amazing spot. Like, they're not even the most talented defense of all time, but the coaching is, like, putting this defense at an elite level. Like, the coaching all around for this team is just fantastic. And I got to give them their flowers. I got to recognize them as a Super Bowl team. Now, hopefully this isn't the kiss of death, because I feel like every time I say this, that team starts to fall apart. So, cross your fingers. I'm not giving them the kiss of death, but I'm really liking this Vikings team. I think they're a real threat, and I lean towards them up beating Detroit this weekend. So, give me the Minnesota Vikings at number 4. At 3, still the best team in the NFC, in my opinion, are the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, again, like I said with Baltimore, this team can only beat themselves. They dominated against the Cowboys without Jalen Hurts. It kind of goes to show just how talented this team is. To me, my only worry is, will Sirianni get in the way of them? Will he have a big coaching blunder and screw them over? But Philadelphia, they're locked in the 2 seed, so they're probably resting a lot of their guys. Saquon Barkley, a career year, he reached 2,000. It sounds like they're going to rest him, which, a shame we can't break the record, but you'd rather just have him healthy for the playoffs. At the 2 seed, more than likely they're going to play either the Packers or the Commanders. I feel like they can win both of those games, but at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked if they could be upset in those games. So we will see. Eagles at number 3. At number 2, got the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they dominated the Jets. What else do you need me to say? I mean, they're the Bills. They could beat themselves. You know, they could end up being just too Josh Allen reliant. And if you need him to save the day too much, eventually he's not going to be able to do it for you. And we've seen it time and time again. That's my big worry about the Bills, but still a fantastic team. Bills at number 2. And what a surprise. Number 1 are the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, they keep doing it, man. They keep doing it. They probably had their best win of the season against the Steelers on the road on Christmas Day. Short week. I mean, you got to give them credit there. Really, well, what else am I supposed to say about the Chiefs? I mean, there's too much love for the Chiefs. We've heard plenty of love for the Chiefs. We know what's going on at this point. Less said, the better. Chiefs are number 1 once again on the PEF 10. All right, let's recap the PEF 10 for the final week of the 2024 NFL season. At 10, the Chargers. 9, the Buccaneers. 8, the Commanders. 7, the Packers. 6, the Lions. 5, the Ravens. 4, the Vikings. 3, the Eagles. 2, the Bills. 1, the Chiefs. Now let's hear from you. What did you think of the PEF 10 this week? Share your thoughts in the comments and share who are your top 10 teams going into this final week of the regular season. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy. Hit the subscribe button for more content by Break the Tackle. And also check out our Instagram and Facebook pages as well. Thank you all so much for watching Break the Tackle. We love football. We talk football.